Once upon a time, there was an old and abandoned stadium that the townsfolk had forgotten and left behind over time. This stadium had become the subject of dark legends and terrifying stories. People would stay away from that area at night, and they referred to the stadium as cursed. However, the curiosity and bravery of young people could sometimes lead to dangerous consequences. 6 youngsters gathered one dull summer evening in their town. Some were friends and some were merely familiar faces. One of them, while sharing the stories of the stadium, proposed an idea. "Why don't we go to the stadium and try to see if it's really cursed?" Although the others initially treated it as a joke, eventually, they all warmed up to the idea. Around midnight, they quietly assembled and set out for the abandoned stadium. Along the way, they shared gruesome details about the old legends and stories, attempting to make each other nervous. When they arrived at the stadium, the pale light of the moon partially illuminated it. The stadium was covered in overgrown weeds from years of neglect, and the stands were old and decayed. The youngsters entered the stadium silently and started playing football on the field. At the beginning, everything seemed normal. However, strange things started happening over time. The ball seemed to move almost on its own, disappearing and suddenly reappearing. The youngsters heard strange noises in the shadows of the stands, and a few claimed to have seen a shadowy figure or two. As they played football for a few terrifying hours, the youngsters began to believe that the stadium was indeed cursed. However, it was too late now, because the stadium's gate suddenly closed, trapping them inside. Lost in the darkness of the stadium, they encountered bizarre entities that seemed to be following them. At one point, they heard someone calling out a name, but they couldn't see who it was. In their fear, they screamed, and a muffled voice came through the stadium's old speakers, saying, "You will never escape from here." The youngsters were now prisoners of the cursed stadium, and the townsfolk would never see them again. The abandoned stadium, just as it was told in the dark legends, was truly cursed, and these 6 young souls were lost in that darkness. The town was left only with their stories, and no one ever stepped foot in that cursed stadium again.